My name is Monica Quintana. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development for Empower Brokerage. For the past 18 years, I've been working with providers across the board and hospital systems. So from your local PCPs to your specialist, in and out of the offices for about 18, 19 years now. And I think one of the best stories that I've ever encountered was one day I received a phone call from this lady, and she says, "Can I speak to Monica Quintana?" And I said, "This is she." She said, "I wanted to see if you could come over and see if you could look at my mom, take a look at my mom, and see if you could help her out." And I could hear a lady in the background, and she was in agony. You could hear it. And I had, my emotions just were like, it was very overwhelming. And I said, just so you know, I'm not a nurse, but how can I help you? And she says, "I guess somebody switched my mom over to a plan, and her doctor, who's been seeing her for the past 27 years, no longer can see her, and we can't afford to pay for her doctor's visits." And I said, "Well, and what's the problem that she's currently having?" And she said, "She has a wound that's opened, and I feel like it's going to get infected." So I took a minute and I said, "Well, let me see what I can do. I know some wound care specialists. Let me see if they can do a charitable cause because they're not taking your insurance." So I said, "But in the meantime, can you send me a picture of this wound?" And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, this wound is about 3-4 inches, maybe long, a little deep. No, this lady, it took half of her leg, and her wound was this big, and you could almost see the bone in her leg. And she said, "Here's the problem. I've taken my mom to the hospital at least 3 to 4 times in the last 2 weeks. And what they do is they stabilize her pain, but in order for her to get patched up, she needs to follow up with her PCP, who is no longer taking her insurance." So you have to keep in mind that it's been probably the 8th day of that month. So if I put her on a different plan, she's not going to convert until the following month. So I call this doctor. He doesn't answer my call at 6:30 a.m. So he sends me a text and he says, "What is it that you need?" Laughing out loud. So I said, "Doc, I just wanted to see if you were in a good mood or you were in a bad mood." And he said, "That's never a good question to ask so early. That means you want something." I said, "I have a lady who lost, who's on an insurance plan that's not benefiting her, and I need somebody to treat her." And he asked me on a charitable basis, and I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you like to get paid?" And I said, I think we all do. But I think that God has all given us talents, and we all cross each other's path for a reason. And so if you can't do this, that's okay. I'll find another doctor that can. And he said, "Wow, all of a sudden you're such a Christian." And and he said, "Have her here by 8 a.m. So I contacted the doctor and I said, "Have your mom, I have an appointment for her at 8 a.m. tomorrow." And she says, "That's great, but I don't have an ambulance to take her, and I cannot carry her, and she cannot walk in the condition that she's in." So here because through the years I've worked with so many people in the medical field, I called an ambulance company that I've sent a lot of referrals to and said, "How do you feel about doing a charitable ride for somebody that really needs it?" So we got that done. She ends up at the doctor's office. Needless to say, she got a whole month of treatment on a charitable basis. And we got her moved over to the right plan. But 6 months later, I was up at the hospital on the 6th floor, and I have a nurse coming out. It was around Christmas time, and she says, "Monica, wait, we have something for you." And I couldn't hear exactly what she had said, and she said, "Mo, wait." So that lady and her daughter were actually in the facility, and the daughter turns around and she says, "Are you Monica Quintana?" And I said, "Yes." And she turns around and she looks at this older lady and she says, "Mom, this is her." And the lady started crying and crying, and she was walking. She said, "I never met you. You never came to our home, but I just wanted to say thank you because you've changed my life." So for that reason, that's why I'm still here. That's why I still do the things that I do, and that's why I encourage everyone to align themselves with people out in the medical community, because you never know what you could do and what type of difference you could do for somebody.